Dmitry Medvedev was once president of Russia, still very chummy with Putin. Said,
yeah, we have this. We have it up there. Yeah. We'll put it up there.
The insolent pig, meaning Volodymyr Zelensky, finally got a proper slap down in the Oval Office. And real Donald Trump is right. The Kiev regime is gambling with World War III. So this bootlicking performance in the White House by our public servants, our top public servants, acting like they own the place. This is what it looked like to me. Two losers on bar stools acting like they own the bar, telling anyone who comes in, you got to go through us first, and you got to give me some flattery first. It was disgusting. This is not diplomacy. This isn't foreign policy. This is thuggery. And I got to tell you, our allies are scared, and our enemies.
Feminists? Anybody? Feminists? Can we see feminists? And she's saying our allies are scared. The way that our allies are acting, they're acting like democratic liberals, which that's the party of Satan. So that would make sense why they're scared. Because they're not used to truth and being direct and masculinity, and they have this thing that they say toxic masculinity, but no, masculinity is not toxic. They just call masculinity toxic. And why is it toxic? Is because we just tell you what it is and that's it. Feminist, c'est la vie.
Are laughing.
It was like maybe when you were 2 years old and you got in trouble for putting your hand in the cookie jar, you know? It's like, oh, you didn't thank your parents.
Look at her face. Ooh, ooh, ooh. You smoke Newports, lady? But okay, this one, oh my.
Enough for raising you, or, you know.
Hold on. Look at this, is a face that only your mother could love. But I guess I'm here to critique what she's saying or react to what she's saying. I guess that's why I'm here. I'm not here to talk about her physical appearance, but yeah, I really am.
That's how I felt watching it.
It's all about kind of like, are you grateful enough? Are you saying thank you enough?
Yeah.
Do you love me enough? As opposed to it's life and death that we're talking about here.
But I felt like it was completely planned, Abby. I mean, even Trump said, this was great TV, and it's sort of like he let the cat out of the bag. Like, I think that this was staged, planned, because Trump and Vance know they're playing to the American public more than anything else. And if you go on any social media, you're seeing people say, yay, we got America back again, make America great again. And I was asking, how does this make America great again? I mean, this is different than being tough on crime or tough at the border.
This is how it makes America great again. It shows to you on live TV that we're not putting up with this bullshit. We've given you so many hundreds of billions of dollars. You've enriched yourselves. We know that. You've taken some of that. On top of the hundreds of billions of dollars, we've given you military equipment, and you use that, and you still can't win. It shows we have a strong leader. That's what this shows. It shows that we're calling these people out that has been taking advantage of the United States for at least the past 4 years under that weak ass, dumb ass, geriatric, incompetent leadership that we had prior to Donald Trump this time, with Joe Biden and that black Indian lady. Yeah, whatever. That's what it shows. It's some of what it shows. If I was sitting next to him, I would have said the same shit that Donald Trump and J.D. Vance was saying. You should be thankful, bruh. I don't have to give you our money. Be thankful. And you coming in here in a tracksuit, trying to, with your little bitty self, trying to come in here and make demands? Man. What?
This is like, okay, I guess we're not going to give $350 million to Ukraine anymore. But what about U.S.?
Ma'am, 350 billion, not million. Get that shit right. You Democrats lie by omission. And no, is anybody going to correct her on that?
Security.
Okay, so to answer her question, how does this make America great again, Malik?
Well, I think that it was a great press conference. I actually liked what Donald Trump and J.D. Vance did in that moment. I borrow from Lindsey Graham, who is a strong proponent of Ukraine. He's gone over to Ukraine several times. He said that he had a conversation with Zelensky this morning, and he told him, he said, security guarantees, save that conversation for later. It was Zelensky who decided to chime in on the question. I believe it was a reporter who asked it, and then it went downhill from there. Zelensky, I agree with J.D. Vance.
Ooh, look at her face. Oh, she is not happy about what he is talking about. Oh my goodness. I can't wait till she chime in again.
Zelensky was disrespectful.
I don't know that that's what really happened, because
what we saw is what happened.
What you saw,
Ooh,
okay,
look at her
was
body
more than
language. Look at her.
halfway through a meeting that was not
It was like
going
40
like
minutes.
that until J.D. Vance was the one who chimed in and basically said, "You're not grateful enough," essentially.
Emily, can you control your emotions? I bet you can.
I can.
I bet you can,
But Zelensky
right? So-
can't. And we saw that in the
Well, I
press
think he
conference.
was-
He's been fighting for sovereignty for 3
he was being
years.
combative, and
Zelensky was chiming in about actually on a factual question, which is, can you trust Vladimir Putin to actually make good on his promises? Because Zelensky was there when they signed another deal with Putin that Putin did not
violated
uphold.
the entire time. This was an unmitigated disaster from a geostrategic perspective. The messages I got from allies across NATO on the way in here, from the think tank community, from D.C., from folks on the ground, was just utter and complete shock. Before he showed up today, there was already a spat previously where, he had said, hey, the president's living in a disinformation bubble. The president punched back and said, you're a dictator and you should have elections. They kind of finally put that aside. So this was already starting to bubble to the surface. Now you throw in the comments that were made today. I don't know that this is recoverable coming back from the other side of this. This is going to cause the Europeans to seriously question leadership at this point. Who is in charge? There's already comments coming about who's in charge of the free world, who's going to take responsibility for security. We have made a significant investment in Ukraine, well over $100 billion, and most of it was in defense spending. It wasn't cash that went over. If that goes to waste, this is going to be seen as a U.S. loss, as a NATO loss, and a huge investment from the American taxpayers is going to be wasted. They have to get past this.
Yeah, I mean, look, if you are Putin, to your point, if you're Putin right now, you're sitting there thinking, they don't really care about Ukraine, so let's just take the whole thing.
Exactly.
I mean, how do you not conclude that after what you just saw there? Trump spent more time saying that he's gone through so many hard times with Putin.
Right.
And that they understand each other because they endured things together. If you're Putin, you're like, okay, why are we even
even have to
playing
lift a
games
finger here.
about a deal? We can just take the thing.
I don't care how Putin feels about this. I care about what happened on that television screen, and it was Zelensky. I do believe that Zelensky should be grateful. And do you know who also
He
thought
should.
that Zelensky
But he
should be
is.
grateful?
He has said thank you.
You know who also thought it? Joe Biden. You know who also thought it? It was Blinken. This isn't the first time that Zelensky has seemed to kind of shake America down. I remember there was the deal over
shake
NATO.
America down.
Well, that's what he's doing.
I mean, I understand
has
he's
come
fighting
before
for the
he has
life
come-
of his country.
Well, when you come before the United States of America in the Oval Office, then you need to show
Where there
a
was
certain-
so much decorum today.
Well, they responded to him.
Elon
And
was in there the
you
other
come
day in a baseball
you
cap
come
with
in
his
there
kid
being
running around.
disrespectful, and you're going to find out the
Disrespectful,
response
please.
to it.
Listen,
That's what he
the other
was. He
thing
was
that-
being
the other thing,
disrespectful,
though, that-
and J.D. Vance was right to call him out on it.
The other thing that I really thought a lot about as I was watching it is that there's a language barrier here. I mean, English is not Zelensky's first language, and suddenly he's in the middle of this dogfight with two people where English.
Why are these people making excuses? This lady making excuses for this little bitty clown, Zelensky. There's a language barrier. I understood what he said perfectly. J.D. Vance understood it. Donald Trump understood it. We all understood what he was talking about perfectly. He can speak English enough to say, "Can I have some more money?" and tell you how much he needs. That's all. He understands American dollar signs. He understands money. What the fuck you talking about a language barrier? No, we understood what he said. You just bringing up some other shit because you don't care about America. These people are the spawn of Satan. And that's what they are.
English is their first language, and he does
Did
not.
pretty well.
He did pretty
Yeah.
well, but I mean, he's trying to interpret all of this in a second or third or fourth language to him, and to me, I felt like he's going to miss out on the phrases and the nuances. I mean, try having an argument in a language
no
that's not your first
On the
language.
world stage.
Yeah.
Well, to Gretchen's point, and to your point, Alex, I actually don't think they got
Everything that lady just said was stupid. That was just stupid.
over the battle of words earlier when Trump said, when Zelensky said he's living in a disinformation bubble. I don't think Trump got over that. I think that's what today was about, his personal ego. But there was a moment during this craziness where J.D. Vance made a policy point. He said, where has all the tough talk and the sanctions and the freezing out gotten us? Let's try talking to our adversary. Now, that's not a foreign policy that I agree with, but that is a serious, substantive, very interesting.
So J.D. Vance says, let's try talking to an enemy, talking to an adversary. And she said that's not something that she agreed with. Is that fucking crazy or what? Talk to the enemy. Can we come to some type of peace? Can we get on some type of agreement? Especially in this particular case, because Ukraine cannot win. Russia has already taken a nice little chunk of their land and they're moving forward. That's the thing with these Democrats. When the conversation gets tough or you don't agree with them or something like that, they just stop talking. No, you have to talk. You have to discuss. You have to come to some type of agreement when lives are at stake. And in this particular case, it's with this president, his life is really not at stake. Is those soldiers, is his citizens up to this point. 50,000 soldiers or some shit like that has been killed. 12,000 just normal civilians have been killed. Does that matter at all? I'm just asking.
Point to make. If that's where the administration came from and was organized and not chaotic and not personal and not out for vengeance and performing for cameras and licking Putin's boots. That's an argument you could make.
Yes.
I wouldn't buy it,
Licking
but it would be
Putin's
serious. That got lost, of course it did, in the craziness and the
Sure.
personal, vengeance.
No, but to your point, so the word costume, he said today, like, where's your suit? Costume would be the literal translation as they're going back on it. And to the point, where has it gotten us? The only reason Putin is at the table is because they are out of men. They're seriously decimated in terms of hardware. He doesn't want to see a mobilization in Moscow and St. Petersburg because it's his political base. And so he's buying time to be able to try to get.
I mean, the bottom line is Ukraine needs to agree to a ceasefire deal. Agree to a ceasefire deal that is led by the United States. Take the L. You lost some land. And just take the L. But this dude, because NATO and those European countries have told him, if you join NATO, we're going to give you a certain amount of money every year, which most of that he's going to keep for himself. And that's why he wants to continue to fight. Good luck with that.